action.
Sorry. Hello everyone and welcome to my birth story / baby rambles. So as you can probably tell, I've had the baby. Hi everyone and welcome to my birth story video. We've had the little baby, as you can see. Somebody's a little bit sleepy, so they wanted to hug me while I was doing the video, but I'm sure you guys won't mind. So yeah, this is little Amelia Ray, which her name is making very cute noises. So her name means striving grace, so Ray is spelled R-A-E, so we're looking at grace and we really liked Ray as a form of grace, so yeah, it's really a lovely thing. I'm going to be smiling throughout this video because she's making the cutest of noises, and obviously it is a girl, so yeah, that's really exciting. So, my birth. So my due date was the 22nd. She was born on the 24th of November at 6:41 PM. I had been in early stage labour from the 22nd to about probably about 11 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock on the 24th. I hadn't realised because the pain was slightly different than I was anticipating. Before I go any further, I will say I am going to be not graphic, but I'm not going to like sort of censor things, so if you're a bit squeamish or anything, I will be talking about sort of things such as my water's breaking and things like that. So I mean, obviously some people are fine with that, some people aren't, so I just wanted to put that in there. It's not going to be awful, I'm not going to be gory or anything like that, but I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, yeah, so it was Wednesday last week, so the 23rd, technically 24th, at midnight, that I think we both realised that I was in labour. So it was probably 8 o'clock the day before, 8 PM, so 8 PM 23rd, I started to feel quite a bit more pressure in my lower back and hip area. Now I thought it was period pain that labour was, which is why I didn't initially recognise it, which is why I didn't actually realise I was in the early stages of labour for 2 days. So yeah, I then realised they were basically too strong for me to sleep through, and I was like, I think I might be in labour. So we gave the birth centre a call and they were like, okay, great, because we were currently having 3 contractions in 10 minutes, which is when you're supposed to ring them. They said, right, we want 3 contractions in, I can't even remember now, I think in 5 minutes. So I did get to that point at 5 AM that morning, but as it is with the latent phase of labour, which is just early stages, you're not technically considered in labour because it can slow down, which is what happened to us. So on our way to the hospital, my contractions slowed down, and it might have just been the positioning because I'd been sort of walking about all sort of from midnight till 5 AM, so I was quite tired already. I had about an hour's sleep beforehand, so obviously I've been up the day before. We then went into a side room for a bit. They kind of checked me, and when they told me I was 3 centimetres dilated, and then they did a membrane sweep. Basically all this is separating the waters from the cervix, and it just helps get things moving a little bit fast because I was going to be in labour regardless, and I was like, well, I've got a membrane sweep booked tomorrow, you may as well do it now. So we had that membrane sweep, or I had it, my husband didn't, and so yeah, that was that, and we started to move along. So about 3 hours later, so I got checked at 9 o'clock, I think I was 3 centimetres. Yeah, I think, maybe, no, that must have been right, I don't know, something about that. To be honest, it was a tiring time, so I won't remember all the details, but yes. So about 11 o'clock they checked me again, and it turned out I was 6 centimetres dilated. At this point I think I'd had this it was like codeine, but it was pregnancy safe stuff, so that's all I'd had. I was pretty impressed because I thought I'd need gas and air a lot earlier than I did. So I was at 6 centimetres and I hadn't had gas and air or anything like that. At that point they were like, right, great, we're going to get you into the birthing pool room, because I'd chosen to have a water birth. And so yeah, everything was going really smoothly. I was progressing well. Yeah, and so I managed about I would have probably said 7-8 centimetres without anything, which I was just truly shocked at, because I thought labour would be the most excruciating pain in my life. And to be honest, I found pregnancy harder than I did labour, just because labour was over so quickly, and obviously I now have a little cute baby to cuddle. Yeah, so that was that, and yeah, so we were in the pool. I went on the gas and air, and I love that stuff. It's amazing. It is like being drunk without having a drink, and obviously being safe. It was like I could feel the pain like you do when you're drunk, but it was a softer kind of, you're aware of it but you can't really feel it, which was just amazing. And then yeah, so we were going well. At this point my water still hadn't broken, so obviously that can slow down labour, which is one of the issues we had, I think. So oh, hello. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah. So anyway, let me just move because I think this is a little bit uncomfortable. You okay? Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, so water. So yeah, I had to get out the water because they wanted to check my dilation. I was about 9 centimetres at this point. I was getting the urge to push, and my water still hadn't broken. So at this point I was too tired, I couldn't get back into the pool, so I ended up having a land birth, as they call it, which always reminds me of a pirate thing, land ho. Yes, so somebody was born on land. Yeah! Right, 1 minute, I'm gonna have to rejig her, because that does not look comfy. There we go. So yeah, was that a burp? So anyway, yeah, so somebody was born on land. Yeah, let's rest your head a little bit more. And yeah, so that was that. So yeah, they had to manually break my waters. I had vomited several times at this point, including on my husband twice, which was quite impressive because I kind of threw up on him and went, I'm so sorry, and then threw up on him again, which is kind of funny. Especially as it was kind of very watery, so it wasn't like really gross. Yeah, because I was very, very thirsty, so it was mainly just, I think, where I just hadn't drunk and then drunk a lot in one go. There we go. And yeah, that was partly it. So yeah. What else? Right, yes, where are we? You're wheezing a bit. Anyway, okay. Yes, birth story. Right, yep. So they manually broke my waters while I was vomiting. A lot of women worry about putting themselves in labour, which didn't happen to me. However, when I was vomiting, unfortunately, I did wet myself. We all got excited thinking, oh, the waters are broken, the waters are broken, and no, I just wet myself, which is fine, because I mean, to be honest, when you think about what is going on, it's kind of like, you know, that is the least of your worries. And they're very good with it. You're very wheezy. Lots of cute noises. She's so cute. Yeah, so yeah, they manually broke my water after the vomiting and that. And then yeah, so at this point I was quite out of it, partly because of the gas and air, but I was just so tired. Don't know whether the microphone's picking this up, but it sounds very funny from my end. And so yeah, that was that. And water's broken. Yep. So once the water's broken, I was obviously pushing. Once I had fully dilated, which was great. I don't think I was pushing more than a couple of hours. I don't actually know how long because I was a bit out of it. But little miss here was trying to come out at a little bit of an awkward angle. So I can't pronounce what they gave me, but basically they cut you just to make the opening a little bit wider. So I have been sutured up, which basically is just stitches but in one continuous stitch, just so it's easier, and they dissolve also, so I don't have to worry about somebody having to take my stitches out. Yeah, so yeah, you can breathe okay, can't you? Yeah, let's move you a little bit. There we go. That's better. I think you can breathe a bit better now. Right, her head looks really funny on the camera. She is fine. Yeah, so had to be sutured up, and obviously they give you an injection in your bottom because they obviously want to numb you before putting stitches in, but they also had to do that before they did the, I think it's called an episiotomy, but don't take me for solid truth on that. So yeah, so that was okay. I mean, that was the biggest complication, basically, that my waters hadn't broken, and then they had to give me that. So it was slightly different from my birth plan, but like, it wasn't, you know, the main thing is she's come out healthy and happy. Yeah, so then obviously she was born after a long while of pushing. Very, very tiring. The worst part about the pushing was not the stretching, surprisingly. The worst part is because they were helping me push my legs back, because I was probably in the worst position for birthing, because I was on my back flat in the, you know, the classic labour position. It's not great, and obviously it's a little bit harder, and it's not as easy like with baby coming out. So yeah, that was the downside. And where they pulled my legs back, my hips started to really burn, and it was so intense. I did scream out a couple of times because it was that painful. But I think actually the pushing wasn't as painful as I'd expected. It was painful, but not as much as I'd expected, and I think I went in with a very much view of it's gonna hurt, like I'm gonna want to die, I think I'm gonna be ripped open, sort of thing, and it really wasn't that bad. Obviously certain women feel different pains, so somebody might feel like that, whereas I didn't. But I think it helped with the chronic fatigue syndrome, because I had such bad muscle pain like every day. I just got used to pain, so my pain tolerance or whatever is probably built up, so that's probably helped. But yeah, so after that we had lovely cuddles, and yeah, she was born at 6:41, as I said earlier, and she's had her vitamin K injection, which she cried a little bit for, but she's been so docile in a really good way. She's just been really chilled out. I mean, you can see she's just happily on my chest here, snuggled and sleeping while I've been talking, and not much fuss, so just a couple of cute noises. Yeah, a couple of cute noises. Yeah. So yeah, that's brilliant, and we got some lovely cuddles in, and Missy here, the first present she's ever given me is a lovely poop on my tummy just after labour, so that was lovely. I lost about 600 millilitres of blood, which is just over a pint, which is pretty normal. It's slightly above average, but not massively. So yeah, that was, and they gave me an injection to get the placenta out, just because I think they realised I was so tired and they just wanted it out and get it done with. So yeah, that was fine, and obviously I had the stitching up done after. Because of the stitching, she did have to be taken away, because obviously I couldn't hold her while they were doing the stitching, so I got about 20 minutes of cuddles before they weighed her and etc. She was actually £7.15.5, so they just, sorry, 17 did I say? £7, that would have been mad, £17. So £7 and 15 ounces and a half, so they've just said yeah, it's £8. But yeah, that's the official poundage if you want. She is now £8 and 2 ounces. She has not lost any of her like weight from when she was born, and I'll go into that in a minute. So yeah, I'm going to move you because you're making that noise again. So yeah, that was really good. We spent the night in the hospital because I stood up and felt really woozy. And so I had to sleep for a couple of hours and woke up at 10 o'clock, so it was like, yeah, they said we're going to keep you in, partly because just to check my iron levels, because I had lost quite a higher amount of blood, and so yeah, it was a bit scary, sort of going, you know, I was just kind of bleeding out, as you do. So yeah, and I think one point Steve said he walked past and he just saw this gush of blood coming out, so it's probably quite scary, for him anyway. I couldn't see what was going on, so for me it wasn't a problem, and obviously if you're gonna have anything happen, being in the hospital is the best place to be. So yeah, that was fine. It actually went really, really smoothly, as first births especially go. Yeah, so we spent the night. Poor Steve had to just sleep on a recliner chair. He did get a little bit of sleep, but I think we were both like, oh, we just want to stare at her all day. I swear she gets cuter every time we look away as well. But yeah, so she had a really good sleep the first night. A few cries, and yeah, obviously we fed her a couple of times and all that, so yeah, and then we came home the next day, sort of about 2 o'clock, because they do all these newborn checks, which is partly why they didn't send us home when they did, so a couple of hours after, just because obviously there was so many checks they had to do that it would have been like sort of 1 o'clock by the time we'd have gone home, if they'd have done them then. So yeah, that was good, and everything was all good and happy. They did my bloods again in the morning just to check, and they said yes, you are running a little bit low, you need to take 2 iron tablets. So yeah, but since then I've been recovering very well. The stitches were checked yesterday and they are healing really well. I just need to make sure I'm sort of doing a bit more to help in lavender oil baths, so yeah, I'll probably have another one tonight, which it really did help. I will say that now, if you ever have stitches, or obviously if you're a bit sore, it really did help. I was really nervous because obviously after birth you're bleeding, and I didn't really want to have a bath while bleeding, but actually I would totally recommend doing it because nothing happened, but also it was very, very soothing. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it really for birth. So she had her heel prick test yesterday. We haven't got the results back obviously, but yeah, yeah, she got weighed yesterday, so she is now a good 8 pounds and 2 ounces. So yeah, and as you can see, she's come out with a full head of hair, which is nice and fluffy because we gave her first bath last night, which went really well. She actually really took to it really well. But yeah, so someone's doing really well. She slept a bit erratically for the first couple of nights, but when my milk came in, she's done a lot better. I was really surprised at how not unemotional I've been, but like I thought I'd be weeping like all day when my milk came in, because obviously it does set your hormones off a bit. But yeah, I think it's just when I'm tired or overwhelmed, so like if I need a nap I'll probably have a little bit of a cry, and it is baby blues, because I know like postnatal depression, I am very aware about me being a little bit susceptible to it because of my history with having depression in the past, but actually it's been amazing, and I feel like I found the job I was meant to do, and I've never felt that before in my life, so I'm really, really over the moon, and I'm just thankful for our little baby girl. And there we go, looking a bit squished up. So yeah, I'm really, really chuffed. We're doing really well. We had our first outing yesterday and she's only a week old now, but we've managed to catch up on sleep. I think the only night that was really bad was Sunday, when she just could not get to sleep until 3 AM. That was a bit rough, because obviously we were still recovering from labour really, especially me obviously, and yeah, so I think she just got in a tiz-was and she was so overtired that she couldn't soothe herself to sleep. So, but she's been doing much better. Last night she's been a bit cluster-feedy today in the last 24 hours, so when she feeds she'll feed like 3 times for 5 minutes, but it'll be really spaced out, so it's actually, I'm awake for longer in the night. But hey, so she's doing really, really well, and that's what matters. So, and obviously she's gained weight, so we're very, very happy and pleased I'm proud of her. So I think that's it, especially as this video is really, really long. Obviously I kind of knew this would be the case because it's the birth video, but yeah, do give this a like on YouTube, just because it makes me feel like people actually watch it and enjoy what I'm doing. And yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful day and hopefully see you in Pregnancy Rambles the next video. Bye!